Welcome back to the Pixelists podcast, my friends. The podcast about all the nerdy things we love and enjoy. As always, we're your hosts. That's Blake. I'm Will. And today we're here to talk about Campaign 4, Episode 30. A rough one. For a couple reasons. We'll get into it. But before we do, I don't think we have much to discuss coffee talk wise. Got a nice little storm going where we're at, though. Is it where you're at, too?
It's storming over here too.
Yeah. It's not too, it's kind of like a quiet storm. I don't know if it's supposed to get worse or what, but
Yeah.
it's a vibe. Um, but yeah, let's see.
How you
You're
doing
going
today?
out of town
Yes, I am going out of town next week.
next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
So I'll be out of town for almost 2 weeks.
Okay. So, but this Friday, are you here?
Yep.
I
Be here
think
this
I am
Friday.
too. So maybe live stream it up.
A little live stream.
Little pop,
Little
pop,
live-
pop.
Little
Um,
pop.
There's an episode this week, right?
There is.
Okay. Yeah.
There is.
And is it the last one?
I have to assume so.
Yeah.
Since we have the. I'm actually gonna just double check.
The Umbra.
Yeah, Age of Umbra starting week after next. Let's see. Let's see. Abria had her baby. I think we mentioned that
Yeah.
before. Oh, the VOD for the Bell's Health show came out yesterday.
Hmm.
How about that? Okay, let's see here. Yeah, episode 31. Coming up on
Okay,
Thursday.
yeah, right. All right, and I mean, I guess it'll be the end of this overture.
Yeah, I think so too.
So yeah, so join us this Thursday for the finale of this little overture. Watch party in the Discord as always. But yeah, I mean, so same old. Unless you got anything else to.
No, let's jump into episode 30. Stoke the flames. And again, we don't do a full-blown recap, but this is just an insane episode. Lots of just crazy stuff happens. And you'll have to help me if I think I'm already. There's something I wanted to mention, but I'm gonna maybe save it for the actual discussion. But basically, you have Cadigan, who's taken away to the Mercantile Twins, and they basically Bolaire, the mask of Bolaire is put on one of them, and Cadigan is freed. Before that happens, you have Bolaire confronting his sister Termina and failing some checks and nearly getting killed by his sister. You have the Obermus Manor crew that's down in the depths of the Taconis house, and unfortunately we do have our dear friend Taor, who loses his life along with his brother to Sidamir. And meanwhile, they do free Mara the Wing. So beyond that, it seems like all is well with the Sundered Houses. We get a deal of 10 million gold and some land that swaps hands and promises to never do anything bad again. And meanwhile, Wikander, I think the episode ends with him. I think he hears like the theater play happening or something and is like heading down that way, but then he finds the Taor's
Taylor's pendant.
Yeah, his lion thing like in his pocket. But a crazy episode, and sadly, our first player death of the campaign.
Our first player death, man. Both siblings going down. I was curious, like it's like a morbid curiosity. I don't tune into too much of the crosstalk of the campaign these days. Like I certainly don't go on Reddit or anything. But part of me wondered, were people raging at this, or were people accepting of it? I don't know if you've tuned in at all.
I read a couple of things. And I will say that I do think this kind of stuff, there's a little bit of a tendency for people to take it a little too seriously and like really. I didn't see campaign 2, by the way. So spoilers for our friends who maybe haven't seen it either. Maybe fast forward a minute. But when Molly died, wasn't there like a lot of like criticism to Matt, and like Matt had to like he like apologized or something, or
I don't know
am
if
I
he
misremembering?
apologized
Okay.
for any. I mean, I don't remember.
Apologies may be the too strong of a word.
Yeah,
Like maybe he said something like the players like we have like trust, and like he tried to placate people is I
there was
think
probably
my
something like that, and there was a lot of
understanding.
hatred towards there. Was a guest. I'm blanking on their name right now, but there was a guest, and they got a lot of hate. Um,
Yeah. So I think these kinds of episodes are kind of overshadowed sometimes by it seems like there is a tendency to really um over take it personal, I guess. So having said this, I did see I did see a random thing about Brennan being a bit unfair, and I saw something that was like a deep dive as to how Travis was really stupid as a player,
okay,
and
yeah, that's kind of
in
what I
both
meant. If people were
yeah, in
doing
both
stuff like
circumstances
that,
I was like, you know what, guys, it's maybe let's just dial it back just a hair. So, but yeah, people are passionate. I get
yeah,
it. You know, passion can be a good thing, but other than like the passing comments, I've actually kind of avoided like reading much discussion on it, so I don't really know um, the general reactions to it.
yeah.
I will say is if I did get it spoiled about 12 hours after it went
Oh, you
live,
did?
and then I had it spoiled like 8 more times after that. Because every like creator channel had like their thumbnail
Mm,
and like basically rip Tayor as like the title of it,
yeah.
or like Travis with like, you know, hands like this, and like it's called like a goodbye or
Mm,
something. You know, I'm so I wasn't really super mad about the first spoil. I was kind of annoyed after like the 8th one of like, okay, I guess I just need to not be on the internet to like
yeah,
fully watch an episode. So
yeah. People just people just rip with the spoilers these days because it's it's good clickbait or whatever. But yeah, that's unfortunate. You kind of had warned me to be careful, so it thankfully was. I kind of like figured something crazy happened, but I thankfully wasn't spoiled for
what's
me.
crazy, dude, is I went to bed like right before it happened.
Mm,
So if I had stayed awake, I would have seen it happen live.
yeah,
But you know what's funny is they split up, and I literally, like jokingly, I was like, remember, I was talking in Discord, and I was like, good night, everybody, because we do like our watch party. And then I thought to myself, you know, remember, never split the party, as like just like a last little DM joke, I
yeah,
guess, which isn't really that funny, but like you never do that. And then sure enough, in the morning, I was like, this is why you don't split the party.
yeah,
But no, I mean, you know, it's people are excited. They want to talk about it. It's really not a super big deal. I just, you know, it's just the world we live in. I'm not like
yeah,
mad at anybody about it. It's just, you know, people want to talk about it. They want to chat about it. And I unfortunately found out about it before I got to experience it, which again, not a big deal. But um you know what's funny though is when
mm,
I texted you to ask if you were watching the episode, and I said something like, "Dude, this episode's awesome,"
yeah,
and I didn't even know about that happening yet.
yeah.
So, you know, this episode was crazy.
It was a crazy episode, man. I mean, all things considered, we're lucky only one person died. Like
Yeah,
Belair could have easily died.
yeah,
Cadigan could have died. Tyranny could
yeah.
have died. Like, they were all in like, I mean, Valus almost died, like willingly, but
That's
almost
yeah.
died. You know?
Okay, yeah, and that's what I was going to mention in the recap was I wanted a deep dive on Valus,
Yeah.
but then I thought, well, I'll save that for the actual discussion. Um, so Joy, my wife, was like passing through my office, and it was that opening scene, and I was like, I think Valus is going to die. She didn't die, but then she came back like 30 minutes later, and it was Taliesin, and I go, I think Bolair's going to die, and she's like, man, everybody's dying. And again, I had no idea what was coming with Taywar, but dude, this was, I think, my favorite episode, hands
Really,
down.
it was a good
And
one.
this was an insane episode. It was so packed with just like crazy moments. I mean, we had a literal dragon show
Yeah,
up. I
yeah,
mean, like, goodness gracious. Um, what was your reaction to the episode?
yeah. I mean, I thought it was great as well. I don't know what my I hadn't thought about like what my favorite episode would be. This was a really good one though. So something from the schemers table, probably if I had to pick. But yeah, I mean this was action packed, had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I thought multiple people were going to die. Like I thought that, especially because I had heard something crazy happened. Like I was like, oh no, Blair's cooked. He rolled too poorly and kept pressing his sister the wrong way. And I really thought for a moment there Ashley was gonna pick to save her family and die. And I was like, dang, what a choice! Like Brennan, what a
Mhm.
Sophie's choice, And I
Where does
admire
that come
Ashley for
from?
trying to have her cake and eat it too with splitting it. But I'm kind of glad
Yeah.
that didn't work.
And I like that Brennan stuck to his guns
Yeah.
of, where she's like, "Can I have a third option?" And he's like, "Sure, what is it?" And it's like, "Both. Why not? Why not just both?"
Yeah.
And Brennan's like, "I'm not going to do that." Actually, I think he said like you can roll. If you roll really well, you can have both.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 25, DC 25.
Yeah.
Where does Sophie's choice come from? What is that?
I think it's, don't quote me on this, but I think it's either like the name of a play or like of a
Okay.
movie or a book, and like the whole thing is about like an impossible, like
Yeah,
you
okay.
kind of screwed either way type of thing is the idea.
Someone will inform us in the comments, I'm
Yeah.
sure. 'Cause they do a pretty good job of that. But yeah, no, I loved that whole scene, and I even loved the where Azune was like, "What do you want?" Which I don't know why it reminded me of the Notebook of
Yeah.
being like, "What do you want?" And she's like, "I want to be with my family." And then Brendan was like, and she was like, "But," and it was just like this. Okay, come on, what are
Yeah.
we doing? What are you trying here? So her sisters are like locked away in the underworld with like all the other overflowing souls, right?
Yeah. That was my
Isn't that the
takeaway, that they're kind of trapped in limbo.
yeah?
Um
And the
and
option here was that they could go to Fairy, the definitely much more pleasant sounding plane that is seemingly also an afterlife, I guess, for souls. Um, I think it was kind of my impression of it. But she opted to not do that so that she could create like sort of this permanent connection. Is that accurate?
I was kind of confused. Because I guess because we don't know what Diazi is doing. Like we don't really know.
Yeah.
Like the three things needed to come together to create a bridge, and the orcish people were getting to go to their afterlife due to
Right.
this bridge. And Fairy was supposed to be connected, but the doors were closed or whatever. I don't know, but the way I took that choice was that like, hey, you can either let what the Ozzy planned happen and let that happen, which is the connection to the orc and the fairy and Aramon, right? Or what I understood was you and your family can go to the elf afterlife, but you'll die in the process. But
That's right.
it might be that, hey, as a consolation, they can go to fairy, like, because that is what the bridge was connecting. So like that makes more sense to me. But I don't know. Maybe it was by virtue of this sacrificing her own life and diverting it away from Thiazi's plan that they
Mhm.
could go to the elf afterlife specifically. But I honestly don't know.
Yeah. It was cool though. I mean, I was very curious like what Ashley was going to choose. Because these big moments, it's interesting like to see like what a player thinks is going to happen. And certainly like as a DM, I'm always so curious like what's going through Brennan's head because he brings Luis Carrazzo
Mm-hmm.
into the scene.
Yeah.
And I was wondering like what's he intending Luis to do here by like having him arrive as the decision's being made. And maybe that was to help Ashley make the decision. But particularly the emergence of this dragon.
Yeah.
This is a representation of Azune's subclass, right? Isn't
I
that
have
the implication?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I guess. Um, I was a bit he's like a I couldn't tell if it was like they referred to it as like the river, the water river dragon or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, so is this just like a spirit that has always been associated with this river that awakened again, or is it like not necessarily so directly tied to this river? And was it the river from the afterlife, or was it the river in the real world? Because there were two, right? Because the river from like the
This is the
afterlife of the
actual.
blood was like pouring into the
Yeah,
real
no, I
world.
think this is the literal. This is the literal river
Okay.
of Lake Tahani or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
I'm like almost certain that this was confirmation of his subclass.
I mean, that would
Uh,
make sense.
is what I think was happening here. I don't know why this gave me vibes of Calamity, by the way, of like, some
Yeah.
kind of like similar lineage there. But
Yeah.
so the dragon shows up. It's to me, it's this implication of his subclass, and Brennan mentions like the first dragon in however many years. So I wonder also if this is going to herald some kind of like, say like return. There are like the trapped fae, but could we see some kind of like Wizard Witch and the Wild One theme of like the fair folk, for lack of a better categorization, like rising up to take on
Yeah.
the industrialized sundered houses, and who are like you know swapping deeds and owning land, and I would be curious if we see an angle there as the episodes go on.
Yeah. I'm curious how like how macro this it was, because like we had that moment in an earlier episode where there was like a dream, I think, where Luis heard the remember,
Mm.
and we saw like the face of presumably the dragon, perhaps. So what I'm curious about is is the implication then that that dream was this river dragon, or
Mm.
is this river dragon just like a dragon and maybe there are many? You know what I mean? Like, because and this is fine if so, but it's like almost a bit of a coincidence that it's like, oh, this river right here in this moment is also the one that has been speaking to him in his dreams or whatever.
I
I don't
think it
know.
kind
I
of
guess I
makes
don't know. Like, is this like, do all rivers have a dragon spirit? You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is it kind
no.
of like Wizard Witch in the Wild One, where like things have
Yeah,
like a spirit embodiment associated
true.
with them? You know what I mean? And so like that this dragon is this river's one, or like,
I could, yeah,
you
I
know.
could see that. Yeah, I could
So
definitely see something like that
I
for
guess I
sure.
guess I don't know like how much I'm supposed to like glean from this moment of what this means.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I don't think we can like, well, every lake's got a dragon in it. I
Yeah.
do think it's very much like chicken egg situation of like, oh, he has this connection and this sort of like affinity for things. He's obviously a standout arcane marshal.
Yeah.
Um, so I part of me wonders if there's plenty of precedent from like other fantasy media of like the person who lives near like the sleeping fantasy giant who visits him in his dreams, which
Yeah.
sounds weirder than I said it, but I think very much like through proximity, he's been like gleaning whatever it is from this sleeping dragon,
Yeah.
and then this dragon, you know, finally awoke in this
Okay.
huge moment, right? I don't think it means that like I don't think it's going to be like Wizard Witch and the Wild One where there is like, who is the sleeping, that one scene where like Lou wakes up the dragon, like the river dragon. I
Mm.
don't think necessarily there's going to be like some like a domain, like every little
Yeah.
place of Earth has like its own spirit that
Yeah.
it's its domain. But I do think we could see some really cool like evolution of the world where like there are, it's kind of like in campaign 1 with like suddenly you find out about the chromatic conclave and there's
Hmm.
these dragons who are working together, and like I could very much see the appearance and rising up of these like huge fantasy creatures,
Yeah.
which I think in a way kind of needs to happen in the sense of I don't know. I think something's missing in a D&D campaign if there aren't like fantastic beasts and maybe even some that you have to fight against versus just people the whole time. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. Not like there's
Uh,
anything wrong with that, but
yeah. I'm with you though. And then speaking back to what you were talking about with like Luis's introduction into the scene, obviously we have all that development with the dragon and his backstory, as it were. But like the dragon pushes the thing into the earth, basically creates this portal's not the right word, but like anchor to fairy or whatever, right?
yeah.
But so like, did anything change? Like, because that's what was always meant to happen, right? For Thiazi's plan, right?
I don't know necessarily. I don't think necessarily. I mean, outcome wise, yes.
Right.
I don't think necessarily like the way it happened,
Agreed.
you know.
Yes,
And
so
I think,
Thiazi didn't plan on the water dragon coming
yeah,
out, but like the end result was what Thiazi wanted. But
I think so.
that's what I think, at least. So then in my mind, I'm wondering, okay, like what did like was the dragon only necessary because Ashley like tried to break the stone, and like, so it's like, well, now you kind of met, not that Ashley messed everything up, but like, oh, now everything's messed up, but the dragon fixed it to where at least it did what it was supposed to do now. Like, is that what we were supposed to walk away with? Or
Yeah,
did
I
or did
think
the
so.
dragon do something like entirely new that no one had planned for? Well,
I think
obviously
it's
they didn't
probably the
plan for it, but you know
former.
what I mean.
Yeah, I think it's the former. I mean, you're giving your players like literally Ashley in the moment said, "Can I rip it in half?"
Yeah.
So I mean, the DMs, I think everybody's kind of ad libbing this thing as it's happening.
Yeah.
I do think that as a DM, you have set pieces that kind of just sit on a shelf and you wait for the right time. And I presume likely he had been thinking about Azune's backstory and deity or whatever word you want to call it, and had been waiting for an opportunity.
Yeah.
And it just was a sort of a natural way to do that.
That makes sense to me.
Physically, I got such like a WoW cave vibe from this, by the way. Physically, I think in the lake, they do like underwater breathing. There's now
Yeah.
like a cave
Yeah.
where like the
Like
stone maybe was pushed down into,
crystal
and
spires, and they mentioned.
there's like, yeah. So, I mean, I guess
I don't
that
know
could
what
be
that
like
means though.
maybe like a hidden portal or
Yeah,
something. I
yeah,
don't
but
know.
like, yeah, I mean, I guess like I didn't know if it was just supposed to be like this waystone of power, but like they explicitly mentioned that the door to fairy is still closed, right?
Yeah.
So like right now, is it just like, well, if we can open the door, now we can do something about it because this thing exists, or yeah, I don't know.
By the way, we did get I got a shout out to somebody, and I just don't have it in front of me. Is the only reason why I can't. I apologize. I can't give appropriate credit to this person, but somebody did drop a YouTube comment and said that they theorized that the reason the door to fairy is closed, which we know there was like the huge wave of like necrotic energy that like nearly wiped out fairy.
Mm-hmm.
The YouTube comment was mentioning that perhaps that was Thiazi's original attempt at whatever he was trying to do with this anchor.
Mm.
Because Thiazi, in the letter that Tayor and them read, it says something like, we made a mistake before, or like,
Yeah,
we messed it
that's
up the first
interesting.
time. So this person was theorizing that maybe the screw up was like a catastrophic screw up, and that's why fairies actually closed today. Which
Interesting.
I don't,
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true, but I really liked the theory. And again, I apologize. I don't know who said it, but shout out to that individual. So,
that's interesting. There's Thiazi. He actually doing.
well, and speaking of Thiazi, can we move on to Teor?
Yeah.
So we had Teor die. Do we think this is an authentic death, or could it be like you wake up in the underworld as Thiazi
Yeah.
standing over you?
I mean, we were wondering this. Like, I don't know. I do think it was an authentic death, but we've been talking this whole campaign about how clearly like the afterlife is more of like a tangible thing than normal. Like, I fully expect to see Thiazi at some point in this campaign. So like, I don't know. Like, I don't logistically, I doubt they're gonna have like a whole Travis by himself as the ghost table where he has some adventure in the spirit life, right? Like that just doesn't really seem like that they're gonna do something like that. But like, I don't know. Like maybe we could see him cameo later in the series where like Brennan tells Travis like, hey, put on your Teor hat. Like we're in the Tenebral Reaches and you're there. Like I maybe something like that. But I don't know if I fully see like, oh, Travis is gonna get like a way to come back to the campaign via some like mini adventure in the afterlife type of thing.
Right. Yeah.
But
I
I mean,
mean,
I don't know.
I guess if I was the DM in the situation, I would probably ask my player like what they want. I'd probably say,
Yeah,
"Hey,
I mean,
do
if
you?"
Travis like was like Brennan, like I spent so much time on this, like I'm really not ready to say goodbye. Then like, yeah, I'm sure they'd figure something out. You know what I mean? I really don't see that happening. I don't see Travis doing that either. But
I
I
don't
mean,
either.
who am I
Yeah,
to say?
I think Travis has always shown that he rolls with the punches. And to be fair, I mean, there were certainly other opportunities. There was the moment with Julian, which very much like Peter Pan vibe, by the way, with his shadow.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I want to
but
talk about that.
having the option though to go down to Teor and
Yes.
basically being
That's
like,
that's
"Good
one
luck."
of the things where I wondered, like, oh, are people gonna be mad at Matt? Like, oh, Matt, if he'd have gone, Travis would have lived. And hopefully, people aren't like that. But that was just like,
Yeah,
oh no, like, oh god,
I don't know if people are.
yeah,
I would say, you're going into the pit of a crazy spirit castle, like pointing out you don't just go through doors in this place, like you go into like the nether realm through some of the doors,
yeah.
and you're level 5, and he doesn't know where he is. So I don't know. It's funny to me. I think it was obvious that he wasn't going to just find him like, oh, it's just down these stairs, right? The staircase leads right into that room.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I mean, yeah. I mean, even before this episode aired, I think last episode we talked about how scared we were for that team. Like they were already roughed up from that very first room, and the alarms went off, and they kept. And I was like, ugh. But yeah, I mean, and not to get on too many segues here, but didn't Thimble is going to look for Teor basically. So like, if she's by herself, like Laura might die too. Like I mean, not that
yeah.
Brennan's just gonna like do that to punish her or anything, but like, I don't know.
He
Yeah.
just has Raymond just going through, you're dead, and you're
Yeah.
dead. Yeah.
But I feel like there were two things I wanted to say that they're slipping away from my mind. Well, one, I remember the shadow. I thought it was interesting because like it was initially presented as like a curse, right?
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
it almost was helpful.
Yeah. Well, wasn't there the part where like the paper dropped?
Yeah.
He dropped the paper
Yeah.
to like keep him from getting caught.
Yeah. So I was and I mean, not that it has to be a curse. Like I'm not mad about it, but I'm just curious about like what is this? Is it like didn't he got it in like the first episode, right? Visiting Diazi's grave? Not grave, but
At the
body?
wake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could it be Thiazi?
I don't know. Like, well, that's why I'm so curious. Like, it's not what I expected.
A little interstellar action, like he's kind of
Mm,
reaching through the bookshelf, trying
yeah,
to. I think that would be pretty poetic if
that'd be
the
interesting.
man that Julian's whole identity is built on, like taking down this man, is actually the person helping him from the shadows.
Yeah,
Or it could be something like Thiazi granted him like this boon, which was presented as a curse.
Yeah.
But yeah, clearly not like maybe how we envisioned it originally, of like you have a minus D4
Yeah.
on your rolls kind of thing.
Right. Or like even like it gets him caught in the trap as opposed to like warning him about it type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then on Travis, obviously I'd be sad if anyone's character died, but I am sad that like cuz there felt like a lot of cool stuff with Teor, especially the way that he's like wielding magic when like the gods are gone, right? But what
Mhm.
I'll say is that it seems like that kind of narrative, if we'll call it, could be continued through Wick. And I especially love Travis choosing him in that final like for his final thing with his pendant. And I'm very curious to see whatever this death boon is that he's granting. Like, do we have any idea what that even means? Like, I was wondering, is it like I wonder if it's like a one time like not that it's this, but like here's a D20 inspiration that you can use whenever, or if it's some like actual mechanic that Wick will have forever. Like, like does he have
I think
some
it's
piece of what Teor was capable of as a paladin that now he can just use
I
as
think it's
as
the
a
latter.
that
I
would be
think it's
really
the second
cool to
one.
me. If
Yeah,
so.
no, I think it's the second one. I mean, you want actions and their consequences to have a
Yeah.
sense of permanence, otherwise how does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
And I will say I'm not glad Taylor died.
Right.
I am glad that someone has died, because if there are no, like, Brennan, we've said this so many times of like, hey, when's the shoe gonna drop where they're like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like this was that moment. But in a similar way, I think like the outcome of it, you have this really, even though the player's dying, Brennan gives him the chance to, leave his mark. So I definitely think the death boon, I think he might have even called it a feat or a feature or something,
Yeah.
which to me communicates, yeah, something permanent.
And he said they'd discuss it. Like him and
Yeah,
Travis would discuss it, which to
that's
me
right.
means it's more than just a D20 inspiration or whatever, So,
Yeah.
but I'm interested to see
Dude,
that because that's like a really cool mechanic. If so, like,
yeah.
which makes player death even more poignant, in my opinion. Like here, you can grant, it's kind of a nice silver lining to death to
Yeah.
buff your allies permanently some way.
I mean, it's tough. He gambled and lost because
He
I
almost
think
he almost
also,
won too.
yeah, that final attack
If a couple of
was,
dice had gone the other way.
yeah. But then there was, I think he gave up 2 death saves.
Oh no, he didn't have any. So like as soon as he fell, he was dead.
Yeah.
He used like desperate measures or whatever 2 different times, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Which,
you roll with the punches, I guess.
yeah, that's double-edged sword.
Well, I was going to say something about that though. I mean, the choices have to matter for better or
Yeah.
worse. And, I thought what I was thinking about with Wick is, the Taconis twins are like smitten with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know he's kind of like indulging in like the act of all of this,
Yeah.
but I was thinking, I
Excuse me.
wonder if part of him, because I think there was the mention from the Photarch talking to someone about, it was like, oh yeah, I have my son Goddard, but Wick's really the one that we care about, like something like that. And I do wonder if there's an element of Wickander feeling like motivated to kind of like indulge back into fame. Like we saw in the Soldier's arc, how he was like kind of put off by like, can someone feed me something?
Yeah.
I'm very tired. And so point being, I could see this emblem being the thing that kind of like inspires him and like convinces him to like leave that life behind. And like you pointed out, truly explore this ASMR origin. Like, what is this
Yeah.
connection to light that seems genuine compared to, you know, this feigned example that is designed to manipulate people?
Yeah. I'm really excited for that whole connection from AR and how that will push him in the right direction. What I hope Travis's next character is still. I mean, not that Tayor was necessarily the face of the party or anything, but he definitely was more large and in charge. I hope Travis doesn't go like the opposite direction now, because like I really want Travis, like for almost every campaign, he's kind of had like a more side character in the sense of like he's not often one that like is leading a conversation, especially with like NPCs. You know, because Grog was an idiot. Ford kind of had his moments, but and then Chetney was a chaos demon, you know. So like I was kind of excited for Tayor being like this charismatic paladin, you know.
Yeah.
So I hope he still kind of goes more that way as opposed to like, oh, new character, let me do the complete opposite of what Tayor was. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some of it is like person dynamics. We've talked so many times about Travis being like the ultimate like player in the sense of
Yeah.
like setting up other people
Yeah.
like so well and like celebrating other people so well. So it could be that, you just can't turn it off, I guess. But
Yeah.
I will say it's so bittersweet to have like the entirety of the soldier's arc be going after Sid, rescuing Sid,
Yeah.
and then they both die in this terrible moment. It's just it sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it. Not literally hate it, but
Yeah.
you know what I
That.
mean. They should have scripted it better. I do also wonder, like, what would it mean for Cadigan too? Because Cadigan, we had his backstory revealed. We know I think there was like a Nat 20 insight check on Tyranny that Tyranny now also knows his backstory, which I think Brendan was kind of like pulling on the lore of like the dagger, how it can kind of like reveal certain things.
Yeah.
And then to find out that his war buddy is dead, like I wonder, he's been looking for a reason to fight. He's identified Primus Ticonus, and maybe his buddy dying would also inspire him.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. He's just lost someone else, you know? Not that they were like that close, but it's like he's not really close to anyone. So Tayor is like one of the closest connections he has, I guess, you know? So, and fresh off the heels of losing Thiazi.
Yeah.
As well.
And something else before I guess we go to Cadigan and then something else I just remembered too. Wasn't there wasn't Thimble gonna like go get Olbid's daughter? We talked about the soldier's arc. Isn't his daughter's like statues in the Ticonus house or something? Did I make that up?
I know what you're talking. Like he hasn't seen his daughters. We learned that, and like we thought, oh, we'll stumble across them at some point in the camp. But did we find out they become statues?
I thought there were like 3 gnome statues or something.
You might be right. I might have missed this.
Here's the deal.
Was this in the most recent episode, or was this back when they got Sid?
No, this was when they were like in the pits of the Ticonus castle. The reason sometimes someone gave us a hard time last episode, there's one before on YouTube of like these guys don't know anything, and it's here's the deal: you're watching a 5-hour plus episode, and it's 1 a.m. So, so I maybe I'm misremembering. I could have sworn there was something about like they found statues, and because there was like a lot of stuff actually. Like now that I think of it, before they split up, they found like a I don't know if it was like a well or a mirror, but it like showed them. That's how they found out where Mara was. That's how they knew. I think Thimble saw like a room of like important documents or treasure or something, and I think maybe one of them was one of the statues. I can't remember.
I think you're right, actually. Like the more you talk about this, the more I'm kind of remembering it. I think you're right.
And the reason I don't fully remember is because while this was happening, I like missed the detail of them like looking into this like mirror or well. And in the Discord, I was like, why is everyone getting like a vision of like different places in the castle? Because it was very much like DM. It felt very much like a DM move of like, oh God, they're all down in the depths. They went. There was 8 doors that led them where they wanted to go, and they chose the 9th one that like went into the very bad dungeon. And so I got a vibe of Brennan being like, "Hey, if y'all go anywhere but here, you'll find what you need." But I don't remember. You guys have to help me. I could have sworn there was something like that, but
No,
maybe
I
not.
think you're right. I was trying to see if I could find that specific point, but I'm having... No, I think you're
Well,
right.
maybe in the interest of time, you
Yeah,
guys can help
sorry.
us in the comments because I think I know we talked about Thimble was going to go find Tayor, but I
Right.
also think maybe she was going to find the statues, but
I
maybe not.
I do remember now that you have brought all this up that there were specific statues that she was like concerned about, but I guess I just somehow missed that they were Olbin's children. I don't know what I thought they were and why she cared, but
Well, I mean, either way, whatever it is, if it
yeah.
is Olbid's daughters, dude, all roads leads to the Chacona's house.
Yeah.
This family sucks.
Yeah.
Like they have done some mean stuff apparently. So yeah, that was really the only point I was making was, dude, the Dakotas are at the center of everything.
No, but I'm glad you
So
brought that up because that detail I completely glossed over it.
well,
But
in the interest of time, let's move on
yeah.
to the Mercanow twins. We actually have quite a bit to get through, so maybe we should pick up the pace a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Because we had the incredibly, I guess let's back up first because it's important to talk about how Belair gets there.
Yeah.
Dude, I loved the scene with him and Termina, and like the disintegration
Yeah.
spell, the disintegrate spell,
Oof.
and then dude, the vibes when he's like running away from her, and Brendan's like, "Well, you can't jump out of this place without like dying."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, that's exactly what I want to do," and like throws himself out. You have the demon that's like, I just envision like these two demons walking out, and then just the body lands
Yeah.
right in front of them.
Crumple.
Yeah, and he's like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
I just adored that whole scene. I gave me hijinks of Wizard Wish and the Wild One when they're trying to escape Injury's castle, where like just everything's just going insane.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you. So it seems like Cormorant has realized the predicament she's in, but also has realized how susceptible Termina is. Like, there's very much a power struggle happening here with Termina. Yeah. And presumably, if Cormorant is, for her whole family loves these artifacts and power and magic, she likely also sees like great opportunity before her in the form of Termina as well. All this to say, this engagement was very peak Taliesin for me. Of like, I'm like, run away, run away, run away, run away. And then I think he casted a spell. Maybe it was Dissonant Whispers. Yeah. But then it gets counterspelled, and you're like, yeah, he's dead.
Disintegrate. Yeah. It's like,
Yep.
oh. And then the no look nat 20 or whatever it was.
Yes.
That was peak Taliesin as well.
And then, yeah, the nat 20, those are the epic moments that you live for in this show, where it's like, you need the role. I think, I don't know if it was Ashley or if it was Whitney Moore, but someone like right after that scene did the same thing where they're like, no look, and it was like a 6, and they're like, ah, dang it.
Dang it, yeah.
But yeah, the no look nat 20 was freaking awesome.
Yeah, that entire thing was crazy. He's lucky to be alive. And I would love to be privy to like the internal conversation between Cormorant and Termina. Like, how much cooperation is there? Is Cormorant just trying to somehow weasel her way back by like placating Termina and like pretending that they're working together? Or like, are they truly just like, hey, we're both winning, like, let's do this? I don't know.
I think, yeah, and the implication I got was that, she just realizes she wants to be free, but she also realizes again how much like insane power is in front of her in the form of Termina. So something to that effect, I would guess. But so Belair's lucky to be alive, but then we move forward to the Mercanow twins, where I just love how these decisions like pair together so well, because you have Taliesin, Belair jumps out the window, and conveniently
Yeah.
Cadigan and the demons are leaving. But then when they go to the Murkonow twins, Tierney's like, "Oh yeah, put the mask on."
Yeah.
And you have this incredible moment where Belair, as one of the Murkonow twins, is like, "I love you, brother, and I'm so sorry for what I have to do." And then, then the awesome moment of Cadigan just beating him to death, which sounds really awful, but
Yeah.
I love that whole exchange.
Yeah, I mean that was just metal, especially Belair being like, "Do you even love your brother?" And the guy was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Okay, cool. Watch him die." And it's like, God,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like they're evil demons, so I get it, but damn, Belair. Okay.
yeah, for sure, 100%. That was really great too. And I think we got confirmation that they were literally like pulling souls out from people, like when they
Yeah.
were sniffing people. And I think there was like a loom or like thread or something that
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
was like
they have.
the
There's like,
soul.
yeah, there's like the soul shadow pieces or whatever that are like that like are in cloth. Is that what like the loom is? I might not be
Yeah,
using the right terminology, but
yeah,
yeah, like it makes you wonder whether what are they doing with that?
yeah.
Kind of
Nothing good.
powers, kind of powers does that have if you use it in a shirt? So yeah, very curious.
But like I said, Tyranny now is well aware of Cadigan's past.
Right?
These two characters are linked. I don't have really much else to say about this scene other than I really enjoyed it. I'd love, as we're wrapping up, to finish with with Candor, unless you have something else you want to mention about
No,
Cadigan
not
and
really,
Kai.
but I too love the connective tissue between Tyranny and Cadigan, which I feel like Brennan just is capitalizing on those two players RP that has been like I don't think that was like planned from the start or
Yeah,
anything. Like cuz they
right.
had that great moment where like Cadigan taught her about like what was wrong about stealing the knife, but then forged her a new handle or whatever and gave it back to her. So like I like their dynamic. So I like that she's now privy to his past in that same way or
Right,
whatever. But yeah,
right.
that's all I got.
Okay, so with Candor, he's got something cooking with the Tacona sisters.
Yeah.
We talked already, he gets this boon. He's presumably heading to the theater, and we know that Felonius and co are also going to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think awaits our final episode?
Bro, I don't
Is this
know.
battle at the theater? I mean, is Felonius the big bad of this first arc? I mean, I'm very
Yeah, I
curious what's
mean,
going to happen in the next ep.
yeah, I mean, we've we've seen that like there doesn't have to be combat, and we did have a big old combat in the most recent ep, but I would expect something else. Um, I don't know, dude, because like we also don't really know what the Aussies' plan was still. And we talked about this last time, so I won't get into it again. But I think there's more to it than just restoring a pathway for the orcish spirits. Like I think that's just like phase
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
something else. And so now that the night song has been reutilized in this thing and it happened, like maybe now
yeah.
the next thing's gonna happen. And again, I
Hmm.
don't know what that is or what that would even be, but like maybe that's what this final episode is about. It's like this next thing that the encore, if you will. Um, but if there is no other like big shoe to drop in that way, then yeah, I mean, I guess Polonius is like the most pressing thing that's about to cause problems. But like, I mean, he's going to check it out, right? Like, and so what? Like, oh, you guys put on a different play than what we expected. Is he just gonna like cast disintegrate? Like, I don't know. Like, it might just. I really don't know what to expect, especially if this is meant to fracture us into three whole new tables again. Like, it seems like there needs to be like new. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like new objectives, I guess. I don't know.
Well, like the reason I wonder if there's going to be like some big battle is because Azune's not far. They
Right.
have all like the soldiers like waiting on Azune's call. And we
True.
had
Yeah.
the deal with Einsvazen and Taconis on, I think it was on disbanding the Revolutionary Guard,
Right. Yeah.
right? Which is who Osne works within. So it seems like there are some big shakeups happening. And it seems like also there's going to be consequences play-wise for not doing the play. I mean, the Photarch was very earnest and serious about changing it, even to the point of like, hey, either you change it or you don't do it at all.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we're going to get a battle with Felonius as the centerpiece.
Yeah.
And that will then, the tables will break off again or something.
Yeah. And
all I was going to say was, we obviously will know a lot more Thursday, but like you could have like the revolutionaries table, like the people working with Azane, and maybe Hal like steps into his role as, you know, what Thiazi always wanted for him, kind of thing. You might have that. You might have like Wikander, you know, whatever that might be. But then what if you had like an underworld table? If other people also die, I think that would be really interesting too.
Yeah. That would be crazy. Now that would be really interesting and a cool way to. I think we talked about this even. Like there could be a TPK, like almost not by design, but like then you could kind of follow their spirits. Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think. We also, not that this is pressing at all, but we also know that Taisha is meant to go meet with her grandma or whatever.
That's right.
It could be a table. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Valus would go with them, investigate the afterlife stuff, since like a new path has been created, as it were. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't forget, but I almost forgot that there were like 300 soldiers at the ready. But like, I feel like it's almost too early to have some sort of like large scale war break out, but I don't know.
For sure. I mean, I think Wikander's present for all of these conversations happening. Part of me thinks like when Azune finds out that there is no real justice coming, like Taconis isn't going to jail, like it's hey, I'll give you guys 10 million gold and some land and whatever else. Like, oh, this really is like all corrupt from the top bottom. I wonder if Wikander passes that along, if that is the, you know, incentivizing of. Again, I think you're right. I think it's too early for like this big explosion of revolution, but I don't know. I'm curious. So, anyway, well, you guys let us know what you think in the episode, in the comments. And as always, join the Discord. We'll have our watch party tomorrow night. You can check that out. And thank you all for tuning into the show. We're going to have our watch party, and then we'll have our stream on Friday, which will be sadly our last stream for
a little bit,
a few weeks, actually. So anyway,
come hang out. But yeah, as always, y'all, appreciate you guys tuning in. But until next time, goodbye.